See, I've already went in here with the stones, and what I've done is I went about an inch or so below the lip on the bowl, and I just kind of touch the line. I'm just trying to take some of the roughness out right there, but I'm going to show you what I do right here. This is, of course, you know, the valves. That's where I had to rough it. I'm taking my pointed stone and having to go back over what I had to grind out to make it polished and blend into what was polished before. That's the part about this that sucks, you see, when you have to go back in there and go over somebody else's work, then have to go in there and grind it all out, then repolish it, because you wouldn't want to hand it to them like that half done. So, but it's what you have to do if you're going to do this where it's a top-notch tier 1 job. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish stoning the exhaust. Just wanted to show you that. Then we're going to break the sand roll out. And I almost forgot. Got ahead of myself here. Guess what we got here? That's right. Machinist ridge. Got a couple of them, and what I've done is I've got me a valve that's just at 2 inches in diameter, and I'm going to end up sliding that in there and covering my seat so that I don't touch it. And I'm going to have to go in here and dig out that machinist ridge and pull that in. Now the exhausts were okay. I didn't have too much problem there. I might have to touch 1 or 2 spots. But I'll go ahead now and put the valves in there and retouch all them edges. See, where I went in there, it's where the valve job was done, where I had to reopen them up. It left machinist ridges in the chamber. So I got to go in there and pull all of them out. So let's go ahead and finish up the exhaust part and polish it on that. And then I'm going to show you these machinist ridge. I'll remove the blue dicom in that spot. Now, one of my viewers asked me earlier, why don't I do all this stuff before the valve job? I'm fixing to show you the reason why. Okay, when you go in there and redo the valve job, you see how the chamber is polished. Well, I'm going to try to zoom in here and see if you can catch this. I know there's some glare, but you'll see that shiny part right there is 30-degree stone. Now look what happens. See that big, that's a ridge right there that goes into the chamber that it's cut in. That is known as machinist ridge. It goes all the way up to right here, where it stops. Now I've got to go in there and take that ridge out for 2 reasons. Number 1, detonation, because that's a sharp edge where detonation can occur, a pre-spark knock. And when the valve lifts and the air is trying to come out the chamber, it can hit there and become turbulent. So I put this old jump valve in there that'll protect the seat, so I ain't got to worry about it touching it. So let's go in there and let's knock this ridge out. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a stone. Okay? Now keep in mind, I'm going to have to go right back in here, dad blame it, and repolish that combustion chamber from where that rolls in. But, you know, there's just no other way around it. You can't help it. I mean, you have to go in there and do all this work, roll the chambers, get that done, and then when you do the valve job, the machinist ridge is going to go in there and it's going to dig and take some of it out, and there's no other way to do it but this way right here. Now the stone is going to knock the heavy ridge off, and then I'm going to go back in there with a sand roll and pull it all in. Alright, now look what happens. See, I can take that and it rolls right across it now. No problem. Alright. I wanted to show you that. And now I'm going to go in there and take a sand roll and I'm going to hit it and pull all that back in. I'm going to go ahead and knock all the ridges out. Every one of the intakes have it, but the exhausts don't because they weren't enlarged properly, so the height of the 30-degree stone rolled on top of the chamber, so the exhaust has no machinist ridge, and that's kind of rare. There is a couple of little spots I'm going to touch, but not many. The intake is the one that was the absolute worst where I had to do the digging. That's where, remember, I had to use a 60 and a 30 to pull it back straight, and this is the area that it dug in the most. Not really over here. There's not much of any kind of a machinist ridge over here in this part of the combustion chamber. Yeah, it's just a flat roll off. So mainly it was here to here is where it was at. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do all the rest of them. Then we're going to come back and hit them with a sand roll and pull that in and finish the polishing. Woo! And finally we're about done with this turkey. Alright, all of the stoning is done. I'm getting ready to switch the sand roll. I'm going straight to the 200 grit because the rest of the chamber is already polished to like 440. But I just thought I'd show you what I'm talking about here. Let's just take a little turn and glance and let me show you. Here we're going to zoom in. You can see right here where I brought all the ridges down because I do not want any sharp edges. I don't want the valve coming up and having to hit a wall, that dreaded machinist ridge. So I went in here with the stone, and this is what all the rest of them looks like. See, I pretty much same spot on every one of them, which is good. It tells you consistency of the valve job and everything and how I had to go in there and touch them all in the same spot. And of course I didn't touch my little gray area and my blue ring of fire. That's all. Everything's good. And same way on this parrot. This is his mates. I got all them done. So that's pretty much ready for the stone. The sand roll. So went ahead and got the valves in there ready to go. And it's real simple. I mean, all I'm going to do is go in there and the best I can is try to touch it. Now I'll have to rotate the head around, come from the side and hit it and some other things, but I'm going to go ahead now, take my 200 grit and get that, and guess what else I got to do? Before I can call this complete, remember, I got to go in here on the exhaust. Remember where I had to go in there and stone it and blend that up to the 70-degree angle. I'm going to have to take the sand roll and go in there and polish all that out. Pull all that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now, take the sand roll and conclude the chambers, the exhaust, and not only that, but from where humidity and everything, it's got like a little bitty brown rust tint, which ain't nothing, but you don't want to hand somebody that. So let's finish it up, touch the sand roll on it. This job's about over with now, thank God. We only got a couple things we got to do, which is pressure test the head, do a CC volume check, find out what kind of intake and exhaust runner we got on here. And of course, the last and final thing will be to tap all the bolt holes. And I'm going to tell y'all, this has been one heck of a head, but I'm going to save my comments until I know what runner volume I got. I think I might be in for a surprise.